Oh yeah, insurance fraud. Seriously?
Well, it's not really a scam. You know, if you actually push grandma down the steps, it's real. You know, so it's not really a scam.
Oh,
So I could teach you how to do it without getting caught, but
I
you
just
have to
made
keep
your
that
grandma.
between us. Yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
everybody, we're
Only had
live,
I
and
only had one grandma to put down the steps, and oh, okay,
yeah,
sorry.
we're live, and we're teaching you how to scam the insurance company with grandma's unsightly demise or
You see?
accident, capital A.
Accident, an accident, yes.
Welcome
I just
everybody
happened to be there to see it happen.
to another
Do it as you
episode
will.
of
Just don't
Game
mention
Set
us.
Live as I talk over everybody. Shut the fuck up.
What the? What the?
Another
Thank you.
Wednesday, another show. Like, share, subscribe, tickle that little bell icon, be notified every time we go live on the channel. And yeah, other than breathing, I think we've all had time for Starfield, and that's it. And boy, have we got a Starfield show. And it's all get ready for 2 hours of Starfield. Yep, I said it. I said it.
It's rash. No, just
Ah,
kidding.
I haven't even gotten sleep, enough sleep.
Yeah, apparently I'm not as addicted as everybody else though, because I've only got 34 hours in, and everybody else has got.
Because you got work.
Yeah, are you telling me everybody else? There. We'll get into that. Fabio, Mr. Amorim, sir, the Brazilian gangster on the channel. How have you been
Yo.
doing? What have you been playing?
Doing well, doing well. Thanks so much. Always a pleasure to be here. Actually, no, just kidding. Yes, it is always a pleasure. And what I've been playing, yeah, of course, I've been playing Starfield. Haven't been able to play that much. I had like 34 hours as you have, Bob, but no, I just have like 40 minutes. Simple as that, because so far I just did the beginning of it. But I am loving it. I am really hooked. What else? I've been playing, of course, Halo Infinite, because yeah, multiplayer, Halo, life, that's it. Not just that, a little indie game called Legend Bow, which is a great option if you are tired of Madden or any type of like all the bullshit that EA actually ends up doing with American football. So yeah, this is a really nice game for you to play on your Xbox. And I played, guess what? The second part of the Monkey Island expansion in Sea of Thieves. Quite fun, but yeah, there is a part that is quite boring, honestly. But yeah, loving it.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, found an alternative to Madden, which is that's sacrilegious. There is no alternative to Madden.
What do you mean there's no alternative to Madden?
There isn't.
It's not simulation football. This is not simulation football. But neither Madden is simulation football, honestly. But yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Football. Football.
Mr.
leave me
Bushido, how you been, Mr. Bush?
Yes,
Yes.
I've been doing
good?
okay.
Oh,
Can't complain. Been
Uh-huh.
spending a lot of time on Starfield. I'm addicted. I am. I need to go to AA or SAAS or anyway. I need to go to Addiction Anonymous Starfield, the Academy or whatever you want to call it. It's too addictive. Now I finally learned how to build a base. I love it even more. I just got to finish this outpost so I could assign someone here, and yeah, it's I think I'm gonna have to give it so far 7 out of 10. It's too much space in space, so I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10.
That's
I
trash.
mean, we just discovered that you cannot pasteurize eggs in Starfield, so I think we could call it a 6 out of 10, honestly.
And you let me know when you find that planet in Starfield that's got the meetings for Starfield Addiction, and I'll have to put
Sure, I
myself
will.
on the schedule.
Absolutely. Put a pin in that.
Definitely. USO Vinny. I'm sorry, I said USO. It's USO.
USO,
There.
USO, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm being a military man and everything, I see USO, and I automatically think about the USO, which is the organization that puts together shows and things for the soldiers to do while they're away from home, like the USO shows and stuff. So I see that, and I automatically think of that. But no, from now on, I promise you, it'll be you so Vinny. That's right.
What's up?
What you been playing, brother? How you doing?
I've been doing good. Just been playing Starfield really since
So
early
so
access started.
so
I've never
excited.
seen you play
I
that
mean,
once.
so excited. Yeah, I've been playing stuff.
I've
like,
never seen him play it one time. We've been in parties, so I don't believe it.
I mean, someone's really happy.
No, I love Starfield. It's a really good game. Everything I wanted in a Bethesda title. Um, Masterpiece. Got to give it a 7 out of 10. Really
Yeah.
good job, guys.
Well done. Well
That's a
done.
better one. I like that one.
If you because you know
Give it a
what?
masterpiece and give it a 7.
Because you know, if you give it an 8, a 9, or a 10 out of 10, you are an Xbox fanboy and you were paid by Microsoft.
Or 8 bots. Yes.
You were a bot. Yes. So, Bob has, yes, I was sitting here Thursday night last week on my birthday, and I was spamming the A button on my controller to start Starfield from the dashboard, and it kept telling me I was too early. I was too early. I was too early. And I'm like, it's
Oh, yeah, everybody ran for
freaking
that one.
after 8 o'clock. It's not too early. Finally, at 8:20, the game launched, and that's been my life outside of work and family for the past week. Yeah.
And then there's Bon Jovi singing, "It's my life."
Yeah. That's a good song. I think I'm gonna make
I
a
ain't gonna
Starfield video
play
with that playing in the background.
forever.
But
It's my party.
I
yeah,
just gotta play
nothing but
what I
Starfield.
wanna.
Starfield has got me probably more than any other Bethesda game. I wasn't really a whole lot in. I loved the exploration of the Elder Scrolls games, but they didn't get me the way Fallout got me. And even with Fallout, I could walk away and not really think about it. Starfield is not like that. Starfield, when I walk away from Starfield, I'm already thinking of what I'm going to do the next time I play Starfield. And yeah, and I'm actually looking forward in my calendar, going, okay, on this day at this time, I'm going to have a couple of hours. I'm going to play Starfield. Or, when I get home in the morning, I'm not going to go right to bed. I'm going to play Starfield for a couple hours because that's how long I would lay in bed and watch television anyway. I'm giving that time to Starfield because it's a 7 out of 10 game and I like crap. That's me. It's my story and I'm sticking to it.
That's right.
Well, first
I mean-
topic. Go ahead.
I mean, of course, Starfield was going to be a Redfall game, right? We all knew. We know
It's
it.
Earthball 2. Yeah.
Yeah. It's clearly Redfall 2, everybody.
Yeah. Okay, first topic. So Starfield gets a 7 out of 10 from IGN. The IGN. But all the other IGN sites, like IGN Brazil, IGN UK, IGN Japan even, have been singing the praises of this game, giving it 9.5s and 10s. And the actual home base, IGN, Mr. Dan Stapleton, gives it a 7 out of 10 because it didn't capture him in the first 6 hours. It captured me in the first 6 minutes, but I knew what a Bethesda game was going to turn into. And I don't believe this man for a minute because he said that Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 captured him that way. But it took you a few hours to get into those games too. So what's changed? Oh, that's right. This is the first one that's only on Xbox and PC. Yeah, I guess those undercover ponies would have a problem with that. Fabio, do you enjoy
Yo.
7 out of 10 games? Will you sing their praises even though they're trash, full of load screens, and a serious letdown from what you've been led to believe for the last 8 years?
I mean, are you talking about 7 out of 10 games in general, or we are talking about what these guys talked about Starfield?
Both. Just kind of throw them in together and let them fight it out.
So basically, a grade doesn't define if a game is good or not. It's by playing the goddamn game and by seeing if it is to your liking that defines that. So it doesn't matter if it is a 10 out of 10 or if the outlet said that it is a 3 out of 10. Guess what? I enjoy Redfall. Guess what? Even though Sea of Thieves doesn't have a 90 Metacritic score, I do enjoy Sea of Thieves as well. Why? Because I play those games and I don't have to listen to grades to tell my opinion, to make my opinion. Look, when it comes to Starfield, let's be honest, what the fuck is this guy smoking? And please, can you give me some?
Right? It may be-
I mean, you serious that you're giving Starfield a 7 out of 10?
Mhm.
Honestly, like when you think about this guy, and what? Sorry, what's his surname?
Dan Stapleton?
Yeah, and Stapleton. So if you look at the profile that this guy has, you see him praising God of War by making a cosplay of God of War. You see him saying that there's nothing good in Microsoft doing acquisitions unless you have Microsoft stocks with you. You see
Mhm.
him just complaining about anything related to Xbox. Not really anything. I'm not gonna put like words in his mouth, but these two examples are like clearly strange and makes you wonder. Ah, so you're just giving that because it's an Xbox exclusive, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, as always, IGN being IGN, I'm not surprised at all. Especially, actually, I was hoping for it to be IGN Brazil to do the fuck up, but yeah.
Well, that way you could have got on here and cussed them out in Portuguese.
No, not at all. It's just because here in Brazil, even Xbox Brazil is just an atrocity. It's just really bad. I mean, on Father's Day, they decided to make a montage of like little squares with a bunch of games that has a father and son or daughter relationship. And in the middle of the square, what did they put? Characters from Final Fantasy VII,
What?
the remake. And made people think, is the game coming to Xbox? And no, it was a mistake.
Wow.
So, Mr. Bush, do you boy, you really fall in love with trash games, don't you? That's right. I
I
said it.
I'm gonna have to agree that yes, I do. Um,
I mean, considering that, what's your football team again, Bush? Sorry.
I don't like the tone right about now,
I heard crickets.
Fabio.
I heard crickets.
No, I just don't appreciate that tone. That the tone of what he said, of how he said it when he said it. You know. But anyway,
What? Sorry,
um,
sorry, forgive me.
so anyway, um,
Yeah.
I play maybe 12 hours a day, 8 to 12 hours a day. And
Jesus
my
Christ.
yeah, well, remember I'm on home on disability, so I'm not doing nothing, and I can't help but think of Starfield what to do in Starfield. I actually don't know what to do sometimes when you have to, when I'm going to sleep and I need to go to sleep, but only thing I could think of is Starfield, and think of, you know what, when I get back in the game, I have to finish my outpost, and to finish my outpost, I need to do this, but I have these other missions to make some money to do this, and I have like 7 ships now, and so how am I going to do this with this now out of ships, and yada 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 yada. Yo, listen, man, I'm just completely overwhelmed with this game. It's just so much to do, so it's just so enjoyable. And the funniest thing to me still is that um, when I look at these reviews, everyone else gives it fantastic reviews with this, and that, and only a handful of sites, when you look at their reviews, is BS. You could tell because they don't really enunciate what their problem is with the game. Oh, the game didn't grab me in the first 15 minutes. You know, the load screen was just too much. Just dumb stuff like that, and it kind of irritates me because I didn't want to believe that was going to happen. I really didn't. People kept saying like, "Nah, man, you know what's going to happen because it's Xbox," and even I joked around and said it was going to happen because it was Xbox, but I didn't really think it was going to happen. I really didn't. And when it did, I was surprised, and it was dumb of me to be surprised that PlayStation fanboys listen. This game hype behind it was bigger than anything, and they just couldn't allow it to shine and be good or be great. And so that's when I started to realize that, you know what, this is going to be one of those situations where if this game wins Game of the Year, it'll really prove that Metacritic is nothing, and that a lot of these guys need to get on board and or get out of the way.
We're gonna get into that because Bob has done some research today, and I have some insight. Yeah, Vinny.
Ooh.
Yeah, wait till you hear what I got to tell you. And everyone listening to the show will be kind of shocked too because I didn't know this. But Vinny, is the score? I don't know. Do you think it's a media bias, or you think they picked the wrong person to review a game, which we all know has happened in the past?
I think there is bias with Starfield, like, but I don't think it's specifically with Xbox because, and this is the only reason why I say this because
You're a
if you
pony
look-
too. No, just kidding.
no, like if you look at it's like a hate trend. Like
Mhm.
the whole thing with Xbox and acquisitions has really shaken up the industry, and a lot of mostly Americans and UK people don't like the fact that Xbox is like shaking up the industry, consolidating, whatever, you know. And they were certainly not happy with them acquiring Bethesda. And if you look at Dan Stapleton's old tweets,
Yes.
he did say there will be consequences for Xbox acquiring Bethesda.
Of course. Of course.
And the first consequence is his review of Starfield.
Yes.
It's so bad that like there was one review on OpenCritic where the reviewer straight up said, you know, I give this game a 7.5 out of 10, but since not everyone's going to enjoy it and not everyone can enjoy it, I'm giving it a 5. I'm like,
What the? It all depends on what everyone unanimously is going to enjoy. Like,
But you see what I mean?
But-
Like replies like that is stupid. Like it's not a real answer.
it's not a review.
It's not a real review.
It's a political hit piece at that point.
it's the same
Basically.
thing as if like I am going to give an RTS game a 4 out of 10 because not everyone enjoys RTS games. Like, what the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
exactly.
the reason why I don't think it's specifically Xbox because I saw this trend with Ghost of Tsushima at the time, and you know, like it's a PlayStation game, and it was like it's It's a PlayStation game for one, so the industry, they obviously prefer PlayStation. Just with reviews, just look at Baldur's Gate 3. But the
Which is
problem
not an
was
exclusive.
it was from Sucker Punch Studios, a lesser known PlayStation studio, and people were upset because the team that made it was white. Like they're upset that they made an authentic
I need
Japanese,
to hear that.
samurai
Oh, that's
game.
right. I do remember that. Yes, I do. I
Yep.
do remember. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But it's just like, what's the word for it? It's just fake concerning, and also just like a lot of grifting in the industry. And you look at all the reviews, they're all like all the bad reviews, like anything below an 8, they're all given by sites that are either based in the US or the UK, which ironically, like, people are just against like capitalism. They're against like consolidation. Well, like, I say capitalism because they didn't like the consolidation of Xbox doing in the industry, and they, they're all about the PC woke culture. That's why they gave Ghost of Tsushima low scores. So, I mean, that's just my opinion on the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree.
The funniest thing, real quick. I don't mean to jump in real quick before I forget this point. What got me with his review was he said that what bothered him at first was the fact that you couldn't go here, you couldn't go there, the freedom of going to every planet. But when I got
Especially
over that,
a giant gas plant, but yeah.
yeah, exactly. He said when I got over that, he started to appreciate the game for what it was. And he started talking about all his fine points. And at the very end of his review, he said the game's not great, but it's very good though.
What the?
Oh
And
my
he gave it a
gosh.
7. And
What does that?
what got me was he says 7, and I was like, wait, that's not wait. 8 is very good. So why'd you give it that doesn't make sense. And then he went into space that same day to defend his review. And I said, this review is fraudulent anytime you had to hold a space over it. And secondly, the other thing that's funny about him was it was really, 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 really weird that you're the editor and you decided that you were going to do the review. Why?
Yes.
Why did you make sure that you were the one to do the review instead of passing it along to someone else?
Yep.
Because it was too important to you to dump on the game. Somebody might give us a good score. No way. No way. I got to do this myself.
I got a lot of respect for Ryan McCaffrey.
Oh, you don't? No, just
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I don't
Why
know.
do you say it so loud from the cheap seats?
You could.
I like to surprise everyone.
You
I love to surprise everyone with
You got me.
You should go back.
Get us carried.
Everybody should go back and watch the unlocked episode from last week with Ryan McCaffrey having Dan Stapleton on as a guest, and the look on Ryan's face when Dan was talking about why he rated Starfield what he rated it. The look on Ryan's face.
I was told, and I still haven't watched.
Dude, the look on Ryan's face was like, did we play the same game? What did you... Yeah, he was just like... And you could tell that he really wanted to say something, but I feel like his hands are tied by the man, being IGN.
Yeah, of course.
And it was like... I was like, I really want to say something. Why wasn't Ryan given the review?
How about that? Because
honestly,
he couldn't take the chance of him giving a good review.
I'm sorry, but like Ryan is still a bit sus to me because I clearly remember he's saying like that exclusivity to third party exclusivity deals to games that were never exclusive are bad. When you guys remember when Xbox made Tomb Raider a temporary exclusive, and then he were was all saying that this is bad for the industry, this is bad for Xbox, like Xbox is losing his way. And then when it came to Sony getting, I don't know if it was Street Fighter or if it was Final Fantasy, like
It's Final
there was,
Fantasy.
yeah, like for Final Fantasy he was saying you should, Xbox fans should just shut the hell up. But this is how the industry works. This is good for Sony. This is good for the industry. This is good for gaming. Exclusives are what define the market. So I don't know. I still think that he is quite sus, honestly.
You know why I think he does that? I think sometimes, listen, I could be wrong, but I think
You are.
sometimes he does that because at first I was on the same vibe with him, on the same time with his shenanigans, and I was like, I don't dig into some of the stuff that he does. Um, Destin was always the one that I respected a lot more when it came to reviews and things like that, or talking points. But I think that sometimes he does it to come off as if he's not biased. I really do believe that sometimes because some of his points that he makes, I'm like, I'm not sure if you really. I think you're just saying this because you'll make other extreme points for Xbox, but then when you're on with some of the other PlayStation guys, it's like you try to make it seem as if like no, 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 no. I could be trusted with an opinion.
I
So
can
I'm
hang.
wondering.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder. I don't know.
Mm.
It's funny too with Dan Stapleton, like in the space and in the Xbox Unlocked episode. The guy was like a stuttering like crazy, like a stuttering mess, and his
Oh,
face was all red, and like it's like he's obviously embarrassed of something, or he's like he doesn't feel confident in what he's saying.
Well,
I mean, at least he wasn't like a stupid, like a stupid journalist that is a member of a big outlet here in Brazil. I don't know what is the name of the big outlet, honestly, but like he says, like I'm pissed, I'm disappointed, and in Microsoft because Microsoft allows me to buy the upgrade edition of Starfield, just the DLC to get the game earlier, so I can enjoy it on Game Pass. But if I add my subscription, I don't get the base game. Like, seriously, you pay just for the DLC content. You didn't pay for the game.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
complaining about like.
You got everything. You got the art book. You got the soundtrack, which is freaking amazing.
so I keep hearing.
Yes. The if you like the Imagine Dragons, they did a title track for Starfield called
Nice.
Into the
Starfield.
Into the Sky or Children of the Sky. Children of the Sky. It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
It's a simpler song. So I can definitely see this song being performed live on stage at the Game Awards. I've called it on Twitter. I called it first. If it happens,
I called first.
I called it first. If it happens on the Game
Dibs,
Awards,
dibs on Bob.
dibs on Bob. But so yeah, you got the DLC that's supposed to come out within the first year called Shattered Space. You got it 5 days early or 6 days early, and you got the pre-order bonus as if you had pre-ordered the full-priced game. You got all of that for $30. And he wants to complain about
Ooh.
you take out the subscription and I don't even have the base game. Well, who ends their Game Pass subscription anyway?
Yes.
This is 2023. Game Pass is the key that unlocks Xbox now, because if you get Game Pass, you never have to buy another game from Xbox. You're going to get it the day it comes out, and you're going to have it as long as you have Game Pass. I mean, think about how many games
I
are going
don't.
to come out and how much you pay for Game Pass. You're going to pay for a year. Game Pass Ultimate is going to cost you what 2 games would cost you, and they're talking about having 4 major releases every year.
By
It's a
the way, I
no-brainer.
need to. By the way, I need to point out these facts because it is something that I cannot hide because yeah, I did tell you guys that I wasn't going to pay for the for the upgraded DLC. Like I was going to pay for the DLC that gave me the content of the premium edition, right?
Right.
I was so hyped, but I got so hyped with Starfield, watching over and over and over that trailer, that live action trailer.
Yeah.
And guess what? What I just did? You think that I bought the premium content DLC? No, I bought the premium edition game. I bought the base game and the
Oh,
edition.
Whew. Wow.
And guess how much I paid for that?
how much you pay for that?
Yeah, how much you pay
Well,
for that?
on Iniba, I paid the equivalent of $56.
Wow.
That must have been
In
thousands of Brazilian highs.
AIs.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's because here's the thing. Here's the thing. The Brazilian reais, this edition is like for around 4 to 500 Brazilian reais. I paid for 279. Thank you so much, Niba, and to give me an Argentina code where I could use a VPN.
Oh gosh. You paid 200. How are you going to feed the family?
I don't have a family to feed.
Oh, see, there you go.
What about
Well,
family dinner?
you need to find one so we can ask you the question then.
What about family dinner? What do you mean? What about family dinner? I'm orphan.
Oh, so what's everybody? I want to, and I'm sure the audience wants to hear some Starfield stories, strange things we've come across, things we didn't expect, quest lines that have drawn us in for hours on end that we didn't even see coming. Bush, you probably got more game time on this than anybody else here.
No, you don't. No, just kidding.
Oh yeah, he does.
I love. I just
They
love
think it automatically. No matter what you would have asked, he's like, no, he doesn't.
I need to be the guy that is the annoyance of the show. I'm
Right?
sorry. Don't,
Oh goodness. So
don't hate me,
yeah.
please.
The biggest surprise to me was about the space combat. That's one. The space combat, when you're one-on-one with the ship, you could take them out. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
When it's 2-on-1 or 3-on-1, you are sunk. But I do like the aspect that they add where you could take points away from something to add it to something else. So if you want to boost your shields, you could boost your shields up. If you want to boost your engines up, you could boost your engines up.
That's what I liked about Star Wars Squadrons.
Mm-hmm.
I was like really surprised they did that in this game.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. So man, listen, I'm stammering right now because there's so many things. Like the gunplay feels fluid. I like the aspect of the whole the common, the rare, the epic guns. There's all for each gun, the way it levels up into epic. To legendary. Each gun feels different. It doesn't feel like, hey, I could rock with this regular gun and be okay. There's no difference between this gun and the legendary. No. There is a difference. There was only one gun I picked up, which was the AA-99. That gun, as a regular gun, was just putting
Sounds like an Xbox battery.
Yeah, right. It was putting cats down, and I was like, man, I only tapping the trigger. But there's the weapon variety. Once you think you've got all the weapons, you don't. Once you think you've seen every weapon, you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Your companions. Man, I don't even know. Listen, I want to eat. Listen, I'll be eating everything for everybody else right now because it's like so many things that keep coming to mind. The writing, the outcomes from doing this to that. I kept seeing people saying like, "Well, how come No Man's Sky you could land on this one you can't?" Man, you play this game, that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. That I could take off and go out in the atmosphere. What difference does that make compared to what everything else you get in this game? It's something else, man. I'm really leaning on using the M word when it comes to this game, but I'm trying not to until the end. But so far, it's like an 8.5 for me right now, and I don't want it to end.
And it won't either. Have you beat the game yet?
No, and I'm
Because
planning on it.
well, no, I heard that beating the main storyline and unlocking New Game Plus is when this game really just becomes more than you could possibly handle, more than you could ever see
That's what I
yourself
heard. Yeah.
finishing.
Boys, let me just interrupt you for 1 second. I gotta go for just a minute, and then I'll be back soon enough. Family dinner, as you all know.
Family dinner.
See you later.
All right, all
All
right.
righty, man.
See
Hey,
you later, boys.
All right.
since Fabio's leaving out real quick, I want to give a shout out to the chat. Thimber, Pyro, well, MacBound was here for a minute, but who
Timmy.
cares about MacBound? Timmy, you know what I mean? Especially Timmy.
Timmy.
Thimber, I appreciate all your work you do, man. And Pyro MD, that's my man from off of Twitter and everything. So, not as if no one else isn't, but we appreciate you guys showing up tonight and filling up the room and always being there with us, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Bush. I was gonna get to that right after intros, and then just jumped right into it. I couldn't wait to talk about Starfield.
Yeah, we just jumped in. We were too excited. That's all it was. We were just too excited.
I'm so excited that I just can't hide it. I'm about to play Starfield, and I think I like it. 7.5.
You know what's funny about the game too, real quick? The game in some instances, listen, I know David Jaffe could be controversial, but he was right though. There's some instances where the game is horrible looking. And there are some instances where the game looks really good. There's some times when the NPCs look terrible in the face. And there's some times it look really good. And I wonder if they'll be able to polish this up, later on down the line. Maybe FSR 3 will help boost maybe it's a frame rate thing. But even with all that, I freaking love the game. It's really, yeah, it just shows you that gameplay is really king. It's not all the other stuff. It's really gameplay is king.
Yeah, the only things that are ugly to me is just some of the foliage and also just the NPCs. Everything else like about the game is just freaking gorgeous. Like the terrain,
I
the
don't mean to correct your
equipment.
English. It's not foliage, it's foliage. Foliage.
Foliage.
It's foliage.
But yeah,
wow.
I really enjoy that everything's in real time too. Like the planets rotate and orbit and the shadows and also like all the time. Like a lot of people, the biggest concern was that everything was procedurally generated and none of the tiles were connected, which was false. Like all the tiles are connected, they're just tiny. And so
they're not
if you wanted to land by Jameson, like you could. Go ahead.
They're not even tiny. It was found out that so each tile is roughly the size of the map in Skyrim.
Oh no, not tiny in the fact that the actual area is small, but they're tiny as like the blip in the map. Like
oh yeah.
They're like compared to the entire planet, they're like very very small portions of the planet, and you could land by Jemison like on the outskirts, and you have to land really close to it, but you could still see Jemison or New Atlantis from the distance, which I thought was really really cool.
That and I do believe that they said that each tile, if you're looking at it on the planetary map, each tile is roughly the size of a pixel. So
yeah, it's the size of a pixel, so it's tiny.
Yeah, it would be very difficult to land the next tile over. But I do see this coming from the modding community. The problem with it being is if you were able to seamlessly walk from one tile to another, you eventually would get a crash because of memory constraints. And
Yeah, the cache would just overload.
I expect there to be a mod where the old tile data. I mean, it's probably gonna pull from your draw distance at some point in time, but old tile data will be dumped in respect to new tile data. I don't see that as, but keeping you immersed into the tile scenery, you kind of do need that draw distance because they've always. I remember Todd Howard saying something at one time about a game. I think it was Oblivion, where everything that you could see in the game that you could go there, and I have still not reached a boundary on a planet yet. I don't know why. I think it's
Yeah, I haven't
because
either. Yeah.
I'll start walking and I'll be like, there was this one point where I was walking so long in one direction that I saw a spaceship. So it was a starship, and it came down into the atmosphere and it landed way off in the distance. And I thought to myself, oh well, I'm sure that's just scenery, for immersion. There's no way I can go to it. And I was like, well, okay, let's see if I can go to it anyway. Because I picked a wanted trait where occasionally bounty hunters will show up and try to take me out. And
Yeah, so did I.
So I figured, well, okay, those are probably bounty hunters, and they probably tracked me to this planet, so they're going to try to take me out. Well, I'm going to go take them out. I'm going to sneak up on them with my sniper rifle, and I'm going to kill those bastards. And so I started sneaking up there. And that's when I started thinking about tile constraints and how I had never seen one yet. And the closer I got, I was like, it's going to hit me any moment. And it never did. I walked up to the spaceship. Turned out that it was somebody that was part of the collective, and they were friendly. They just had to land to repair their ship. And I sat there and I talked to them for a moment. And then I turned around and left. But they had a lot of really neat loot in their ship. And I'm like, everything I put my cursor over, it showed me the red icon that I was going to steal it. And it's kind of funny, too, because when I first walked onto the ship, the pilot was the only one on the ship. And they were knelt down right behind the pilot's chair with their back to me. So if I wanted to steal anything, that would have been the time to steal it before I went up and talked to him. Because after I went up and talked to him and made my presence known, they never took their eyes off me the rest of the time I was on the ship. And I'm like, damn. I was like, damn it. And dude, it was so funny too, because I would be like, ooh, that looks nice. Ooh, that's worth 340. And then I would kind of turn and look towards the front of the ship. And they're still standing there looking right at me. And I'm like, damn it, can you just go back to what you were doing, please?
Listen, let me give you guys some help with understanding Bethesda games. When it comes to Bethesda games, you can still steal while people are there. So I'm sitting there and I got caught, and they took my contraband and everything, and you can steal it back. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that the NPC's head is turned. That's all you have to do. Mm-hmm. You don't have to wait for him to leave or anything like that. You just save. This is what I do. I save. Just in case I get caught. So I save, and when I perceive that his head is turned, you have a good 5 seconds before he turns back around. So I'll turn my character a little bit. Let's say he's to the right. I'll turn it to the right. And if the case that what I was trying to steal from was on my very left. And the second I saw he turned to the right to look, I just click the button real fast, click transfer, so that way it gives me time to not have to go through everything one at a time. So I click transfer, and I'm in there already, and I just grab everything, and I come back out. Mm-hmm. Now I saved just because if I got caught, I could go back to that save and then do it again. But so far, I don't really get caught. So one of the best things you could do is to steal your stuff back. Even if you get caught, you might lose the money, but you're not going to lose your inventory of stuff that was yours. You could always steal it back, and I'll steal it constantly. And if anything you want to take, there's different ways of taking it. Like one guy showed that you can hit a gun continuously and skip it out of that room. Because remember, long as he doesn't see it, it's not stealing. I said this at the game with a couple of the guys. I was like, listen, if a man steals and no one sees it, is it really stealing? And it was like, yes. And I was like, no. Like, come on now. If he doesn't see it, it's not really stealing. I'm sticking to that. So that's what you have to do inside the game. You have to make sure no one sees you and you're a cat burglar.
So, you know, and it's not just the direct. I mean, Bethesda, the way they've done, the way their NPCs are aware, it's not. It doesn't keep track of the direction they're looking. It's also whether or not they can see you because of obstructions. We all remember the trick.
Right. That's the other one too. Good point.
We all remember the trick in Skyrim where you can pick the bucket up and put the bucket over the merchant's head and
so you can still do it
and rob him blind. Now, I haven't found a bucket yet in Starfield, but when I find a bucket,
Me either.
I'm going to keep it in my inventory and never let it go.
Yeah, I'm gonna clean somebody out.
But
definitely go clean somebody out.
So one thing about Starfield that I don't like, and this may cause an issue with the buckets, is I've noticed that in Starfield you can't precisely place things. Like I've got all these plushie dolls that I'm collecting. I think I've got 4 of them so far, and I would love to like sit them up on one of the shelves in my ship for display, but the only option I have is to drop it, and when I drop it, it just goes wherever it wants to go. At my feet.
Yep.
So I remember in Skyrim you could pick things up and you could place them, and so that's why the bucket trick worked. I don't know if you'd be able to do that in Starfield because you can't really place things precisely. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
Mac Brown says you can't do it. I don't know, man. I haven't found a bucket or anything, but there's a couple of things I think I'm gonna try. There's a bin. I was wondering if I could use the bin, but you know what though? They make it really hard to be precise. Like, all right, so let me regale you guys of the tale of the soon-to-be space pirate king Bushido. So I see a ship. First of all, I hear a ship breaking through the atmosphere. As soon as I hear that, I'm just looking up. And I thought the same thing like you did, Bob. I wonder if there's a ship that lands. Can I take it? So I looked around, and I saw a ship coming down out the atmosphere, and it landed. It was a long way from there. But I said, no. I'm hoofing it. I broke all the way down there to the other side. I had to keep taking breaks because my man's running out of oxygen. And then by the time I got there, I look around. It's a huge ship. The ship is gigantic. But it's like 6 mercs outside just walking around. So my character got too close. Not my character, the NPC in my character I think it was Sarah, got too close. And they was like, hey, you guys need to shoo and get up out of here. I look at Sarah. Sarah looks at me. We lock eyes. And we already knew what it was. It was time to run their pockets. And we started running the music Annie up, so we start running through cats and running their pockets. Now I made a save just in case if something crazy went wrong. And guess what? Something crazy did happen. It was 3 guys left that was outside. They was trying to get on board. I killed one of them. There's 2 left. The ship starts to take off. I was like, go back to the save. Jump in the ship this time before it takes off. It takes off while we jump on there. We go through the ship, air it out. Just air the whole ship out. And next thing you know, it's the Pirate King ship.
Oh, shit.
That's how you do it. That's exactly how you do it. You catch them slipping, and it's yours. I'll give you a second one. USC had a ship that landed. You can't get in the ship unless you crack the lock. So we looking around like, yo, where's the USC guy at? We was like, forget that. Let me go ahead and go inside. Let me see if I can get inside. The lock, I think, advanced. I broke in, got into the cockpit, and was like, skirt, skirt, go on. Listen, if you out there with your ship, if I catch you slipping, you don't want that. You don't want that. That's all I'm gonna say. You don't want that work.
Oh man.
Bushido the Pirate King out here.
And the only thing you got to do to make it your ship is just sit in the pilot seat.
Sit in the pilot seat and pull off. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. I think I have 7 ships now, and I'm not done.
I got 2.
I'm not done yet. Nah. I'm gonna keep working on mine. Nope. I'm getting all these ships.
So the planet that I'm on, in the gameplay here, I walked around and surveyed this planet and never ran out of anything to do on this planet for almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely.
It is that crazy.
It is. It's nuts. I mean, it's not just. And some of the planets are, even when they're barren planets, the way the way the star that in that system that you're in, the way the planets and the moons around these other planets look as you're going through, even though they're barren worlds, they're still beautiful. Down to the texture on the ground, it's just, man. Vinny was right though. Some of the foliage here and there. I said it too. Some of the foliage from here and there can be a little, to be desired, but
yeah,
that's nitpicking, and I'm not going to nitpick a masterpiece like this. So,
anytime you're playing the game, especially for me, and it's at 8, it's on 8.5 as I'm playing it. Like I said to we have Fonz inside the Xbox party today, and I was saying to him, I said, look, right now it's at 8. Me and both agree 8.5, same number. But what gets me is if you wrap the story up right, this is absolutely going to be a masterpiece. It all depends for me on how it ends. If it ends right, this is absolutely one of my all-time favorite games all time. So far, right now, it's there. But I'm trying not to be a bot and be hyped just because. But I'm really hyped on this game.
My goodness.
Oh, I do want to ask you guys a question.
Okay, go for it. Go for
it. You guys play in, even the chat. I want to know what you guys do too. You guys play first, second, or third inside as
first
far as
person in tight corridors, third person, and just the open world.
I'm back. So answering your question, yes, I am again. I just got back and I am going to answer. Don't even know the contest.
See these back real fast.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, when it comes to that, I would say like it depends on like what do I think is the most adequate for the cinematic moments. You know what I mean? Like if I am like entering the ship when I entered my ship for the first time, I had to go on third person, like, but not with the zoomed out camera. I meant the zoomed in to be more cinematic. I like to use it accordingly to what fits the best, honestly.
Because we have a name for that very first third person camera, the one that's almost literally right over the shoulder. We have a name for that. We call that the banger.
PlayStation exclusives?
Yeah, we call that the banger camera. Yes.
The action adventure camera.
Yeah, the action adventure camera. I play it in first person. First person all the time. So
all the time? You don't even get to see how you are looking or something like that?
Nah, I see that in the menu. Whenever I go to
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
By the way, I don't know if you guys already talked about the character creation.
No, we ain't get there yet.
Oh,
no.
okay. So I'll wait for it. I'll wait for it.
Well, wait, let me give you my mode I play in. So I play in. I used to do first person for close quarter combat like Vinny, and I would do third person for exploration. I don't know what happened along the way, but I stopped using first person and started just using third person. Um, and now I haven't switched back at all. I've been playing third person. I don't know why I like it in combat and everything, and I'm just strictly third person now. I'm not even switching anymore. So, yeah.
It's because you're a fucking pony. That's what it is. You're a pony, and you love to
Hey,
ass.
how does that?
Yes, you're pony. We all know.
Took you long enough.
We all know it's the shooter box. The shooter box. Not third person shooter box. The first person shooter box. FPS, baby.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to convert from being pony to bot, so
That's
I
why you have to be a
keep going
botted
going
pony.
to Pony Bots Anonymous.
Pony Bots Anonymous. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But I have to say, shout out to Mac in the chat. He couldn't make the show. Damn, he couldn't make the show, but he's making that chat flow.
He can make it in chat. Yeah, he can make it in the chat though.
I
tell
ain't
you.
knocking him for it. I'm praising him.
And I don't want to hear his kid. He had to watch his kid either. His kid watches himself. Don't give me that.
Yeah. His kid watches himself.
Yeah. Last time me and Vinny was in a party with him, he was wondering who was cooking bacon, and he ran inside the kitchen. And his son was cooking bacon, and I was like, "How old is he?" He's like 3 months. I was like, "Wow!" Like, I don't think you need to watch that kid.
That's a resilient
Yeah. Mac was
child.
like, he just got home from his 9 to 5.
Holy. 3 months old? Okay then.
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
So, we are going to talk about whether or not we think this game is deserving of a Game of the Year award. This was brought up on Twitter a little while ago by none other than Infinite Umbra, asking if an 87 to 88 critic rating is deserved of a Game of the Year. And did a little research on it. But before I divulge that information, Fabio, what do you think? Should rating play a key part in whether or not a game gets Game of the Year?
I'm sorry. Can you tell me the question again? I got confused there.
Should a critic rating of a game, like in OpenCritic or Metacritic, should that rating of the game be considered when the Game of the Year nominees are being picked?
Honestly, like when it comes to that, I would say that it doesn't matter because again, Game of the Year awards or scores do not matter in comparison with your experience. And that's what defines. So yeah, like it doesn't matter if like Redfall is in 40s or 50s. Like if
Did you
you
say
had
Redfall?
yes, I
Yeah,
am
that's
saying
what I
Redfall.
was going
Like
to say, Ratfall.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
if you had fun with that game, go on, more power to you. I did have fun as well, no worries at all. But like to say, but because it depends on like okay, if what the game is going to use, the criteria that the game is going to be used to be considered as Game of the Year, are the grades that is receiving, then Starfield honestly is going to be one of the candidates, one of the nominees. That's honestly a fact because even though we have some 7 out of 10s or 70s, most of the scores are like 9s and 10 out of 10s, honestly. Okay.
All right.
But the problem when it comes to that, I think, is the bias that we have in some situations because like Forza Horizon 5 then was supposed to be a nominee for Game of the Year, but it wasn't because why? Because it's a racing game, but who cares?
Hot off the presses.
Bushido.
Yeah, hot off the presses.
Bushido.
Bushido, don't fuck with me. Seriously?
Hey,
Bushido.
Macbound
I'm
just
coming
flew
for you,
in,
motherfucker.
and boy, are his arms tired.
I want to say something real quick about because I'm only coming to hear it because I was like, you know what? They're not going to read my chat fast enough, and I'm irritated with that. First of all, he knows that my child is over 6 months, and as a person that has supported my child as being his great grandfather, he knows he's 6 months, and if he knows if he was making bacon, my ass would be eating that, okay? And if he was, and Benny, if he was working a 9 to 5, I would be a lot richer than I am now. All right, I just want to clarify that. So to get that to add to the podcast, but go ahead, I'll go ahead and I'll join until you guys are done with. All right, since I'm done with everything I was doing.
Okay.
If you don't mind me, Bobby, to join. If not, I'll leave.
No, that's fine.
You know,
That's fine. Mac,
all right.
Absolutely.
87, 87, 88 open Metacritic. Should it be considered for Game of the Year?
Yeah, there was a Game of the Year that won 87 a few years ago. So I don't see why it couldn't win it. So, I mean, I think it's a Game of the Year. No, I can't remember the exact game. Me and Colt were talking about it. I had to look it up. And I even asked him.
Take-Two was like an 89.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was Take-Two. And that game was amazing. But that also was probably one of the... let's not talk about that year. That was probably pretty much a bad year for gaming in general. But still, though, I mean, it
was a slow year. Yeah.
Starfield... See, it's tough. Like I said, this year is like I don't think Baldur's Gate's going to win it the way it's performing on PlayStation, and you know, I think the hype has died. You know, Elden Ring was talked about for 2 months afterwards. I think Starfield is still talked about in November. I think that's what helps it a little bit. People are still going to be talking about what they're doing in Starfield. Sooner or later, like Assassin said, sooner or later there might be something up his butt or something like that in Starfield when he wakes up. So you never know what might happen, what stories we might get out of Starfield. Of people, which is amazing. I mean, y'all don't know that context, but Shido does. But there's been some conversations that we've had, people talking about their stories and stuff, and I'm just like, what the crap is going on here? Like, and I personally right now I've got about 13 hours in it. I mean, this week was supposed to be like pretty good for me, but I just did not get enough time into it because I just had some other personal stuff that was going on outside of the video game world and stuff like that. So. But yeah, it's Game of the Year for sure. Definitely. What else can really beat it outside of Baldur's Gate and Zelda? Like, there's nothing. Well, there's nothing. Them two games are.
Wow, you mean Zelda nuts and bolts? Nice.
Well, I don't see the thing is with. Well, I think Spider-Man 2 will be in it, but I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like, you know what? It just deserves a ribbon because it's PlayStation. So it's gonna. So that might be what that. And I'm hyped for Spider-Man. I literally bought a new PS5 just to play it because that means something for me. So, but yeah, we got it's between Baldur's Gate, Zelda, and Starfield. And I think the only reason Starfield has an advantage to win right now, Zelda's naturally a DLC / I mean, I know it's a newer game and I knew there's new mechanics, but the game is almost like kind of how like God of War Ragnarok was. It's the same game, but a little bit different, right? Clearly, that's how Ragnarok was. They added animations, they added little stuff like that, just to make the game somewhat different, but they didn't have to do as much. And Baldur's Gate, really naturally, it had a great PC start, but we already seeing bad reviews on the PlayStation with how bad it's playing right now, and how 14 frames is that's ridiculous. I mean, even Gotham Knights stayed at 30.
I would like to point out that, like, the fact that when people saw the game running with split screen on PlayStation, the majority of the comments was like, "I'm so glad they ditched this out of the Series S instead of just pointing out the problem that is, then why is this game being released with split screen on every console? Because guess what? It's going to be the same shit for the Series X as well."
So,
but they're gonna have more time to work on it because they've decided to release the game and then bring out split screen later. So it may work. I really don't care about the split screen, but it may work better because they're getting more time to work on it. But yeah, that's wild to see that though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But
no, you're next, Bush. Bush, what do you think? Game of the Year.
I already said it.
Okay.
By the time I'm done this game, if they wrap this up right, this is a 10 for me. I can't get enough of everything in this game.
But you don't want to use the
Everything.
M word, so.
Yeah, but I'll use it if it ends well. If all well is that ends wells, then I will. Yes. But the other thing too is, if I'm not mistaken, I gotta look it up again. That's why I don't like making statements if I don't know 100% this. But if I'm not mistaken, every year Bethesda has released their game, which is very like once a generation, if you ask me. They've won Game of the Year. Now, if someone could look that up, like Thimber, let
Every
me
year.
know.
Yep. Every year. Every year.
Yeah, it
They've
is
won
true. Yeah,
Yep.
they've won Game of the
Every
Year. So I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to lose it on this one either, because their games are just so extravagant with story, development of the cat. Like Mass Effect. One things why a lot of us love Mass Effect is we like the characters that went along the run with us. Now these guys aren't as likable as Mass Effect characters were, but at the same time, they are likable. And so, with that being the case, it really elevates the story of the game and each person. It depends on who you have with you too, and who you decide to romance or whatever. But yeah, right now I'm team what's her name, Andrea.
Andrea.
That's my baby mom right there. Yeah, that's my baby mom right there.
I'm gonna
So
be honest with you. Since I started playing, my character's been trying to get in Sarah's pants. Just saying.
okay, I'm not mad at the Sarah thing either.
Yeah, Vinny.
It's like, Sarah.
Vinny, game of the year.
Bobby's wife's listening and shit.
I mean, are you sure you're just okay then?
Yeah, Vinny, you game of the year, brother.
Yeah. I think it'll be my game of the year. I'm almost done with the story, and I really, really like it. And but I don't know, because Jeff Keighley has his own like panel of critics that vote and choose who's game of the year and who's not.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's hard to say. I think if the critics are unbiased, we don't know who they are, but if they're unbiased, yeah, I think it'll be game of the year.
It's producers and studio heads of other games.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It might be Baldur's Gate 3 then. Just throw him a bone or something.
I think my problem with that whole process is he's not really open about it. He's not really open about how things work with the process. But the only thing he was open about was the fan vote, and he said the fan vote is only 10%. And I was like, well, why even ask us then? It's just barely enough to really make a dent on any decision. I mean, it might help break a draw, but for the most part, though, I didn't think that was enough then for me to even want to participate.
So
that's I'll go ahead. Okay, Bob.
To bring up the little research that I did today on Game of the Years and past controversies with the Game Awards. A lot of people will say, well, it only scored an 86 or an 87 or an 88. So no, it's not worthy of Game of the Year. But if you go back 9 years ago in 2014, the game that won Game of the Year was Dragon Age Acquisition. And that game...
Acquisition?
Acquisition. Dragon Age Acquisition. So it's selling the sale of Microsoft's buying Activision. No. I mean...
Okay.
Acquisition?
Yes, I'm sorry. Inquisition.
Acquisition.
You knew what I was trying to do there.
Listen, the funny part is, a lot of the guys don't get it, but inside of our Xbox parties, we actually wait for somebody to see something wrong. And the second they do, we all jump on them. Like, so we gonna let that slide. He said this.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, like a chicken burger. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Burger.
Oh, we killed him with the chicken burger thing. That still ain't died yet.
Shiz hates it, bro. That's why I do it, bro. He gets too mad. I gotta do it every time now. So.
No, I don't know. Sometimes he just laughs about it. I don't know. In the beginning, I know he hated it, but now I'm not sure.
You see all the shit he was talking to me earlier. Sorry, but go ahead, Bobby. I
Yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt you.
So Dragon Age Inquisitions won Game of the Year in 2014 with an 89 Metacritic. Okay,
Nice.
so but there was a controversy that year because Dragon Age Inquisitions is not the game that all of the gaming community thought should have won Game of the Year. That year, everybody was playing Destiny. They thought
Mm.
everybody was
No.
everybody was upset that Destiny did not get Game of the Year.
I'm
But
sorry, didn't deserve it.
Destiny only
don't
got
think
a
it deserved it either.
75. Destiny 1 got a
That's right.
75
Right.
critic rating, but still everybody wanted it to be their Game of the Year.
I'm gonna tell you why I didn't win Game of the Year, because I was a big Destiny player for like ever, even Destiny 2. The problem with Destiny was there was no story. Like the gameplay was cool and everything, but there was no story to conjoin everything that was part of the. It was no mytho, basically, is what I really need to say. There was no mytho, and so you
And-
playing the game doing this and that, but you had a brief story. You had a very, very brief story, but you're like, all right, well, what about the what's going on with this and that? And so that's where they faltered at as far as that was concerned. Gameplay wise, it was good, but it wasn't great. It was good, and it was innovative as far as the concept was concerned, and people really did like it. But to me, even I really loved the game, but I didn't think so. I thought it fell short of a few things to put it in that type of category.
Yeah. This is true.
Even though I love playing it, I played it all the time.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I remember there were like cutscenes in the ads that weren't even in the final game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I love Destiny 1. I played the hell out of Destiny 1. Destiny 2, as soon as Cade 6 died, I was done. I didn't want no more.
Oh wow, really?
Bringing him back, baby. They're bringing him back. So okay.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
That's
so
what it
out
looks
of the,
like.
so
Can't
out of
bring the
loop
game
now.
back.
So
I
out
think.
of the
Listen.
loop
So
now.
the biggest downfall, the biggest thing about Destiny is not that it's not a great game, right? Everybody here has probably put a good amount of time into it at some point in time, something, right? But like, it's kind of like a rinse and repeat thing, right? It's kind of like a bad call. It's a worse Call
Right.
of Duty, right? You play
No,
Call of
it
Duty
isn't,
every
though,
year, right?
Justin.
You buy it every year, right? So Destiny has that big plan, right? Well,
I'm just
we'll go
kidding,
through the
sorry.
whole year. No, you're good. You're going through a whole year. You do the same shit, right? And then they pretty much you're putting yourself to a default moment, right? And then you do the same shit over again. You grind, and then a year later you pay $60-$70. You do it again. They need to make it where it's just not I don't know. I get it's to a point where they gotta Bungie's got to make their money, or whatever. But it's definitely nothing I would like. I don't know. I just gave up on D2. I didn't really care for it, and then all the DLC just cost way too much money.
Mhm.
Destiny 1 kind of wore me out a little bit. So, but Destiny 1 was so amazing. It was something new, but it had its problems, just like every other shooter game at that time frame. It had its problems. So
But like, don't you think that the free to play approach of Destiny 2 was a good thing for the game?
free to play games tend to take your money more. So
Yeah, but like you can ignore that part.
yeah, but ignoring in a game like that would be like ignoring like a World of Warcraft membership. Like, yeah, okay, but play the free one and enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? And you're only gonna get so far. It's like, nah. You gotta. I mean, just weird. So
The only thing
I
that
don't
will
know.
really keep you with Destiny like that is the multiplayer. The multiplayer is really where it shines. There's a lot of cheating going on, unfortunately, now, but I think that's what
where you get
really
free to
soured
play.
me on it. Yeah,
That's where you
and
get free to play.
but before that though, oh man, they have a lot of really great modes. I thought they did an excellent job as far as like creating modes for the game is concerned, but they just allowed too much cheating to happen and well, we're getting off track because we're talking about that game instead of this game, but yeah.
So, did you all see the tribute that Starfield made to a fan who passed away before he got a chance to play the game?
I thought that was cool.
I
I
thought
heard
that was
about it. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
that was neat.
It was pretty. It was
Still
it was,
didn't. I just saw it online. Didn't manage to see it in the game yet.
Yeah, you know, and I haven't any. I walked right past that bench when I first stepped into the space station or observatory, and I didn't even look down at that bench, and I feel bad about it now because yeah,
Wow. Wow, Bobby.
How
Wow.
dare you?
I know,
Wow. Didn't even salute the man. Wow.
but I will.
I would have never.
I'll go back and pick that letter up now.
No, it's too late now. It's late
It's,
now.
it's not here anymore. No, just
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Should have did the first time.
We're bad. We are really bad people, Bushido. Like
Yes, we are. Yes,
So,
we are.
has
you know,
anybody
you and I are going to hell, mate. Jesus Christ.
has anybody experienced any bugs in Starfield yet?
Not
Yes.
far.
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
I heard of one, and I had one. I heard of one where one of our guys that's in our Xbox parties was saying that Sarah was with him, but for some reason Sarah started sinking into the ground, and the more he walked, the more she sunk into the ground. I thought that was funny. I had one where Sarah was with me, and Sarah was up in the air, and she was kicking her legs, and she was shooting. I mean, she was knocking cats out the box, but she was shooting, and I just was sitting there watching. I think I recorded it too, and I was like, "Hey, girl, I mean, do your thing, up there and everything." But that's that. Well, I think that was the worst I've ever seen. I don't think I've seen anything else.
I haven't.
I had a couple. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no! By all means, you first, sir.
I was gonna say I had a couple like minor bugs. But I had this one bug where one of the end game characters you meet at like the end of the story mode spawned in my ship at the very beginning of the game, and I was like, "Who the hell is this guy in my ship?" Like,
Oh my goodness!
and I was like talking to him. It's like, "Is he supposed to be here?" And he's just talking to me like I'm in his ship. Like, what the
Right?
Oh wow!
fuck? Yeah,
Oh
that was the
wait,
weirdest
I
bug
got
I've
one
had.
more. I got one more. I'm sorry. I think where somebody, I think it was Manic was playing, and Manic had said somebody had fell out of his ship when he was landing, and he recorded it, and he sure enough was falling out the ship.
Oh my goodness! Oh, Macbound. Any bugs?
Yeah, I had two. When I jumped into a area, you know how they check for contraband and stuff like that, and like drugs and stuff and all that bad stuff.
Yeah.
These ships were like literally like they were like almost like spiders having sex in the air, and like they were floating. They
What?
were literally combined together. Yeah, I'll have to send you the video. I've seen somebody else have that problem too, which was weird. And then they detached from each other and flew really fast away from each other. It was weird as hell. It happened to my brother too. And then nothing. This was like a stupid thing, but I walked into like somewhere on where the free range lancers are at. I think they're called. They're the Rangers or whatever they're called, or something like that. I walked into one of their houses, and this like tomb looking like elephant tusk or something like that. Like as soon as I opened the door, it was like flying around like super fast, and then it just like it was almost like a ghost that got caught in the headlights and it just disappeared, like up, and it stopped, or like kind of like Toy Story, where like, oh, Andy's coming, and then they drop. That's what it did. So, and that's so. I mean, that's all. That's nothing. I mean, it's like stupid bugs. It's nothing like game breaking. Nothing that's like ruining my experience. It's actually making it funnier for me than anything. So, can y'all still hear me? I don't know if my.
Oh yeah, you
Yes,
sound,
I'll
you sound
go
great.
doors.
Yeah, you sound smooth and sensual there, Mac.
Yeah, there's nothing I haven't seen nothing that's been like ruin the game itself. Like, oh, I gotta reset, or I think my buddy Mitch said that he couldn't open a door. He just did the most recent autosave, walked back up, it worked. That's all I've heard. Nothing super bad.
Yeah, I haven't had any bad bugs.
Yeah, I haven't experienced even little minor bugs. I haven't even seen things floating, or like when I'm on the planets, the animals. I know I've seen some gameplay where somebody will have one of the smaller creatures just kind of floating there in the air and not moving. And I haven't even experienced that. My playthrough has been flawless. But on opening night for early access, My wife,
Yeah.
Kitty, experienced a bug, and she said it was pretty grotesque. So she picked the trait. I think it's kids things, where
Yeah. Your parents.
you visit your parents, and so when she first got into, um, it's Atlantis, isn't it? What's the name of the
New
city?
Atlantis, yes.
Yeah, when she
Yeah.
first got into New Atlantis, and as soon as she stepped out of the lodge after doing, the first thing with the artifact, she got an alert that one of her activities was to go visit her parents. And so she went and visited her parents. And she said that her father, that NPC, was missing their entire upper lip, and you could see his fleshy jaw behind it.
What the?
And I thought to myself, I had to actually get up from the study, go into the living room, and see what her character looked like. Because I'm assuming that they're using some sort of a blend from character creator so that your parents sort of resemble what you may be split into two. So I just had to see whether she had a really funny looking jawline or something on her character. I'm like, no, she looks normal. But yeah, my wife said it was hilarious because the whole time she was there, she was in there talking with her parents. She felt so bad for her mother to be married to a person as grotesque as this. Yeah. Oh man, but I can't wait until I can play this again tomorrow. It is so much fun, so much fun. I do.
What's your job? You can play tonight.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could take the.
Call off. There's a lot of things you can do.
I know. I don't. I can't do that though.
Being an adult sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. Why couldn't
I'm
this
so
game-
glad I'm not an adult. No, just kidding.
We know, Fabio. We don't know an adult.
Of course I am. Of course I am an adult.
The family dinners gave it away.
Mm,
What do you mean
Yeah.
the family did?
yeah, family
Ah.
dinners.
I want to
I'm
add
so-
to that,
I'm-
Fabio. Bobby, I want to add to that real quick. You said you have no family like 10 minutes prior to that, and
Of
then
course.
like you're like, oh, I'm gonna go eat dinner with my family. I'm like, you just said you didn't have a family, so what the worry
That's
about
called-
family?
That's called nonsense.
I mean, there's people that don't got families. They could have just abandoned you and said, this kid's ugly, or oh, his wiener's small, and I don't want to deal with him, and then just left or something like that. They could have done something so much bad. You never know.
I'm sorry. Who just abandoned someone just because his winner's small? I mean, what?
Well,
I would-
we do have some gaming news to get into that I've just been caught up on today because I've been living the life of a Starfield adventurer. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been announced. It's coming fall 2024 to the Series S, X, PS5, and the PC. That's Vampire the Masquerade was a game that looked interesting to me, and I always wanted to get into it. And yes, I have it all downloaded on my Xbox, sitting on my mechanical drive in storage, and I've never started it up because there's always something else to play, which is odd because Xbox has had no games, but somehow I haven't got around to it. So check that out. Coming out fall, Xbox, PC, PS5. Square Enix has confirmed Final Fantasy 16 PC version. Yes. And they've also announced a significant update is going to also be released for the PS5 version. So Final Fantasy 16 on PC. That's
what are they gonna do to it? Does it say what they're gonna do with the PS5?
It's just like dialogue, and it's nothing like crazy. Just a bunch of bug fixes and whatnot.
Okay,
Yeah.
so nothing yet.
Yeah, nothing. Just a bunch of quality of life stuff. But the PC version does intrigue me because the PC version, to me, that's just one step closer to Xbox. Possibly, yes. Hope.
We'll see. Who knows? That's a tough one.
And the what I consider the news bigger than both of those we just mentioned, Minecraft enhanced version of the Xbox Series X and S has officially been rated by the ESRB.
Awesome.
So
Finally.
that ray tracing version of Minecraft that we've all seen been floated around for years. What was it called? The bigger, badder, or I can't see. It's been so long since we've seen it. I can't even think of what it was called. But yeah, it has been rated.
The Series S is about to catch fire. Just remember that.
Right?
Fuck off.
Well, Fabio, you only play Halo anyway, so we're not worried about what you're playing. So
What do you mean I want to play Halo? God.
we know you only play Halo. Come on.
No,
No,
not
it's
only,
just-
not just Halo.
The-
Yeah, go on.
It's just I don't know. Just Minecraft is just they've talked about how like that stuff has like literally made PCs catch fire, and that's like good PCs.
Yes.
This Xbox, this Xbox is not meant for, overdoing it for a little kid that's like, somebody that's like 12 or 13 and they sit here and play Minecraft for 6 hours with their their friends. I'm telling you, the Xbox is going to be catching fire. It's just, remember that video when the Series X first come out and there was smoke coming out of it? That's what when you load Minecraft up like 20 minutes in, that's what your Xbox is going to look like. So.
Yeah. Oh, so finally getting the bigger, badder version of Minecraft. And anybody, if you all like the Pussycat game, Stray, the Stray movie being made by the Ice Age directors is a go at Annapurna. So they're going to make a Stray movie. Yeah. Put that pussy on the screen. Yep. Nobody else is even gonna. Yeah, nobody likes Stray. God.
No, I think you cut out.
Thank you.
Oh.
The
No, that's cool.
So
great.
jeez.
I've heard the soundboard in so freaking long.
Yes.
Let that go.
Welcome to the soundboard hour on Game Set Live.
I mean, this is the entire
Hour.
podcast now. I don't care.
Alone in the Dark has been delayed. Its release date has been moved to January 16th.
Yeah, Sonic's the other game that needs to do it. So then all the games that I want to try out will, be at least 2 weeks from each other almost. So
I like that because we got too many games to play now. Too many great games. Not even good games, great games. And we still got more coming.
Right?
So move that to next year because who knows when I would have been able to get to it. I love it.
Yeah, the only thing, I mean, at least all these games aren't live service games.
Yeah.
So whatever state you leave them in on your SSD or your hard drive, they're going to be in that same state, ready to pick up where you left off when you get back around to them. That's the greatest. I mean, that's a good thing because I'd hate jumping into a game, then hopping out of it, and then coming back, and everybody even being so fucking OP that I'm just like, ugh. It's not
That's
fun
like
anymore.
Stellar Gams. Like I wanted that to come out earlier this year. I'm glad it didn't, and I think it's moving to next year. I think, and I'll be glad that that's where it's going to be instead of now because I won't have time to get to it. I can't wait for the game. Actually, can I get to the yams?
No.
yeah,
Yams.
And
Show
everybody likes the
me
yams.
way.
at this point, I do believe the Ubisoft original Skull and Bones has officially become a game stuck in purgatory. Yes, because they have lost another creative director, and there has been no internal release date plans, and there's no public release date window even. So
What about Beyond Good and Evil?
well, that one
That game's
too.
never coming out.
And that trailer had so much going for it. with the pig and the gambling and people flying out the window and taking off, and oh, it had so much going for it.
I'm so sick of Ubisoft with that too. You canceled Phoenix Rising, the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we heard me and Mac talked about it. The way that game sound, it's like it was going to be so freaking good, and then they canceled it. Not that they pushed it back or delayed or anything. No, they canceled it. And then now you got this game that looks so good in the trailer. I mean, I know it's just a teaser trailer, and everything, but you even show later on, a couple years later, what you're working on, and now. Yeah, I'm just sick of Ubisoft. I love their games. I'm sick of their antics, and I think it's the people up top.
Yeah. Vinny?
Why you guys get quiet all of a sudden?
Yeah. Yeah. So they were actually like, so I was looking more into that, Bushido, about that Immortal Phoenix game, and they said that game was actually possibly going to be another name. It wasn't going to be called Immortal because it was changing the way it was changing and stuff. And I'm like, dude, that game was. Listen, if I tell everybody, if you like Breath of the Wild, right, you would love that game. My wife is the reason why I played that game, because the same reason is because she loved Breath of the Wild, and I've seen her start playing this stuff, and I'm like, dude, that looks really good. And then it reminded me of like Assassin's Creed 2, so it was like a mixture of both. I think they did a good job. I don't know whoever made that decision on with Immortal I mean, their brain cell is like kind of be a little loose or something, because it don't make sense. I don't know. I don't understand how somebody can make a decision on that about that game. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I thought it was a great game. You want to talk about giving it like that was an 8.5. That was a really good game, and that was the first iteration.
Green, right here, I do believe is what I was talking about. I just boarded this ship, and I'm looking around the ship, and I haven't went up to meet the captain yet that's working on the ship. And then I start looking around, and everything starts showing up as being stolen. And I'm like, oh, if I had never talked to him, would it have been shown stolen? And now I keep... yeah.
You're
right. Yeah. I'm about to run up and talk to... I think it was a her. I think I'm going to run up and talk to her here in a second. Open
Whoa.
Yeah, this is...
Identify their gender.
Shut up. Yeah. Yeah, see, they're knelt down, they're fixing their ship, and here I go, and I start talking to them, and then when I go back and I start looking at all the stuff that I want to take, I'll start turning around, and I thought maybe if I shut the hatch back to the cockpit, maybe they'll turn around and go back to what they were doing and work on the ship. And they don't. I run up and I peek through the window of the hatch, and I'm like, they're still looking at me. Damn it. Yeah. It's funny. Just one of those nice little Bethesda. It's a niche that they do very well. But on that note, I think we're going to get out of here, and so everybody can get back to Starfield and get back to their families and living life, touching grass. I do want to thank everybody that's been in the chat tonight.
Which grass if we're playing Starfield?
Yeah. Shout out to Palpatine in the chat, Mr. Bushido also in the chat and on the show doing double duty. Macbound coming from the chat into the show, also double duty. Want to thank out Pyro M at D. Is that a Pyro? Are you a medical doctor? Is that what the MD stands for?
No, massive dick.
Oh wow! Wow.
I didn't know you were that
coming.
kind of doctor, honestly, but okay.
Oh man.
I was lost. I was like, whoa.
Oh, and shout out to Palpatine. All right. It's Timmy. Also, don't want to leave him out. Fabio Amorim, sir, the Brazilian gangster from Down Under.
Oh.
That's right. Brazil has got a Down Under. They're kind of Australian in some parts. Sir, where can people find you at?
Well, thank you so much. You can find me not just here on the Game Set Live podcast, you can find me on the XPN YouTube channel network, and you can also find me on Twitter as FBO Amorim and 97, and also as on Xbox as Buff Lizard 8.
All right, that's right. Go check him out. Good times over there on the. What was it?
On called XBL Party Podcast.
Yeah, I wanted to say XBL Party Podcast, and I drew a blank because I was like, oh, it's not called that anymore.
Yeah. I do miss that. I do miss that name as well, honestly.
Well, there's no Xbox Live anymore, so.
Well, sort enough might come back. The name might be reused for something. We'll see how it goes.
All right, and Mr. Macbound, Macbound was originally slated to be on this show, but he had other more important things to do, and he decided to kind of.
I was never slated. Nobody texted me until 3 minutes before the show, and
I
then I'm like, no,
know.
I'm editing videos here, and I gotta finish this stuff
I
up.
like that.
Just poking the bear, baby. Where can people find you
yeah.
at?
You can find me at MacBound on YouTube, which I just started making YouTube. I think a bunch of people's got me followed. I'll post it in the chat before the show ends. You also can find me on Twitter at MacBound. Everything's pretty much MacBound with either just regular MacBound or just with 2 Ds at the end of it. I also want to say something about myself because Bushido didn't give me congrats earlier, and I'm very irritated. I'm down 12 pounds. I'm trying here. Don't let Bushido run it. No, Bushido's lying. Don't let him go there. No, he didn't. Very disrespectful. He did it afterwards when I confronted him about it. Because I am a bully. I am a bully, and I will bully him. I bully my elders. And
What is that?
and I want to thank you. Thanks again for Bobby for letting me join, and Vinny, of course. Bobby, I need to finally add you on Xbox since I've never done that. And just here. So thanks again.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Macbound. I know. Do it while you're young, dude, because the older you get, the harder it is to lose the weight. Even when even when you eat less and do more work, you still have to work twice as hard. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Sure.
Mr. Bushido, sir, where can people find you at when you're not trying to get on Spooky Sprockets Show?
Ooh.
You can find me here at the KY Bobby Show every Thursday at 7 o'clock. And, I've been being recruited to go to Wise Old Gamer Show. And so I'll pop up there periodically, and that's every Friday night at 6:30, if I feel physically up to it. So.
Really?
All right.
Yep.
Wow. Don't even ask for an invite. Okay, thanks, Bushido. Who was it? You said Wise Old Gamer? You said that's who it was?
Yeah. Wasted with Wise.
Yep. Okay, for sure.
Good times over there, Wasted with Wise. I've been wasted with Wise.
You love Wise. Yes, you love Wise.
You and Wise be kissing, don't you, Bobby?
No, not true. No. He likes wine.
Wise loves you too.
He likes wine. I can't stand wine. I'm a bourbon guy. Vinny. See, I didn't say USO this time.
It's USO, not USO.
Sony Vini. No, just kidding.
It's whatever you want to call it.
Mr. Vinny, sir, where can people find you at?
So you can find me pretty much any platform: Xbox, PlayStation, Twitter, or X, Sony. I guess if you want to call it. Same name as here, Uso Vinny. Yeah.